what are your thoughts as we look ahead to the 2024 race season?
Wow, they're going to be a little different this year. My son used to race in bone stock also. Sorry. Okay, sorry. So my son used to race, so he had sold his car. So this year we're going to kind of split the driving up a little bit between the Mini and the Mini. And next year, if he might buy his own car, then I'll stay with the Mini again.
Right. Yeah, I mean, right on. I think I know, like when it comes to your minion, a lot of people love it, and that just because of the unique look and that it's something different that we don't normally see on the track.
I haven't seen a Mini anywhere, to tell you the truth. I've been to a lot of tracks
Yeah.
as a spectator, and I don't think I've ever seen a Mini anywhere. It is pretty unique. I mean, I think that's why a lot of people at Peterborough do love the car because it is so different.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I love it, and I kind of gravitate to watching it whenever I make the trip to Peterborough.
Yeah, it's. I started off in the Civic, and the Mini was a bit different to drive,
Right?
being a little shorter, and I had to kind of learn how to. I spent probably half a year just getting used to it, so get more comfortable with it.
Well, I was just gonna ask, what are your thoughts as you look back to last season and how things went?
Actually, the season started off really good, and then about midway through the season, things just nothing was going right. It just car didn't handle. I don't know if it was the car or me. We brought the car down to the garage and spent a good long time. We took everything apart, changed what looked worn, bent, put it all back together. And so my son came up with some new tire pressures to run, and he tried the car out. He said it's really good. The times were good, but then when I got the car, it felt really loose at the beginning. But he said just keep with it, get comfortable with it,
Right.
and as the laps went on, the car just came into it, and the second half of the year went so much better than the middle part.
Well, I was gonna say obviously there was the highlight in getting the win midsummer in July.
Yeah, I had a shoulder issue at that time, so that was the first race for Kyle for the year. So I asked him to sit in for the 50 lap for me.
Right.
And I mean, I love watching my son race and as a father. So being in the car was and being watching it was just as exciting with the win. And that was our first win as a team.
Hmm. So now as you look forward to this upcoming year, and you mentioned the fact that you and Kyle are going to share the ride, what do you feel that you guys need to work on going into this year to make that way be even stronger than you were last year?
For me personally, I think I got to work on my consistency.
Right.
I can run lap times with the leaders, and I can run, but then I fall off a lap, and I just gotta make a mistake. And I mean, if I had a microphone in the car, people would just the words that I use and talking to myself about it. So I got to work on consistency for myself personally
Right.
because I haven't been racing. I mean, I was a late bloomer. I didn't start till I was 57.
I was gonna ask, how did you get that start in racing?
So the first year, I watched racing all my life, and I thought it was all too expensive. Don't know anything about it, but I've taken the kids. We've been all over watching races. Then Kyle bought his first bone stock, so I thought I'll help you out. And then one race he couldn't make it, so he goes, "You drive." I go, "I don't. I've never been on the track." And I went out and I had the time of my. I felt like a 16-year-old kid in the car. So I came home and said to my wife, "I'm building a car." And then I
Yeah.
went out the year after.
What's been the most memorable moment that you've had now since you started racing?
Something I've thought about that question when been asked. I
Yeah.
honestly have to say, I think it was my first year. Because the first year I started at Peterborough, there was 30 some odd cars
Hmm.
in bone stock.
Yeah,
And they
that's
used
when
to have,
Peterborough's getting crazy numbers at that time.
yeah, and then they had a B main. So, and being a rookie, I always had to start at the back. So my first year, I got overall 11th. I was really happy with that. I got rookie of the year. And one that means a lot, I got voted by the drivers most improved.
Oh, yeah.
And I beat Kyle in one heat race to win my first heat. So that was all in the first year. So it was explosive the first year.
Right. So
And
obviously, I know you're having fun with the Mini Cooper right now, but is there any other division out there like that you'd like to try one day?
I think for me, just being at the age I'm going to, I mean, I'm really having fun with it. To me, it's 99.9% of it is fun.
Yeah.
I have heard Kyle talking that he'd like to step up in the trucks one day, maybe.
Okay.
I think for me personally, I mean, just because I'm mad at myself for starting so late.
All the fun that
So
you missed out on.
yeah, I mean, I watch mini stocks and stuff like that. I do enjoy them. My brother raced there for a couple of years in mini stock,
Okay.
but I'm just happy with Gold Stock. Honestly, I love it.
Right. Who would you consider your racing hero?
Racing Hero
Yeah, if you have one.
at Peterborough.
Well, either Peterborough or national scale. I mean, how you can take that question however you want.
Yeah, I mean, in more modern time, I love Ross Chastain.
Right.
Uh, he just seems to he just gets it in, he mixes up, and then that move he pulled out that one race up against the wall. That to me, that was just crazy. And then last year I got into my first NASCAR race. I've never been to NASCAR. And
Right.
that was just it was just amazing that I got a Ross Chastain hat. But yeah, I like the way the kid drives.
So where did you go to your first race at? What track did you make that first trip to?
We went to Bristol on dirt.
Oh, okay. That would be a big one to go to.
Yeah, I'm lucky my wife bought us the whole package and all that. So me and the boys went down and it was amazing. I always heard this rumor that was a real last year for dirt. I thought that'd be a race to see because it would be the last year for it, which it is.
No, I did Darlington for my first one and that's now a while ago and that, but it was fun and that, it's definitely more unique in person than it is just watching it on TV. Like there's a whole different speed feel when you actually go, and
I
especially
was
with the 1.5 miles.
yeah, I was kind of blown away because I knew it'd be loud, but I didn't think it'd be as loud as it was.
Right.
And we were pretty close up to the track, so we got the full
The full experience.
yes, and the dirt in the face.
So, and while we're on this NASCAR note, then, if say there's one track that you could go watch a NASCAR race at, any track on the schedule, we're gonna pay for your tickets and everything. Where would you go?
I think anything short track, I mean, a lot of people complain about the LA Coliseum race, but I kind of like it only for the fact that they do heat races to me, it's nice short track. I mean, a lot of people complain about it. Oh, it's not really racing or whatever, but I love the short track stuff. I to watch a group go around the 2 mile track and then watch them go around again.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying, especially if you're there, you want to be able to see them more often than not.
Yeah, yeah, they're probably away from you longer than they are in front of you. With a small track, there's always somebody in front of you.
With the experience that you've had, what's a piece of advice that you would give to somebody getting started?
Listen, because honestly, when I started, the amount of people that came down without me even asking with advice, what I should do, what I shouldn't be doing is amazing. And it doesn't stop. It still continues because guys come up and said, Ange, you overdrove that race. You were doing good, then you started overdriving the car. And then I kind of think back and I go, yeah. And honestly, it's listening to everybody. Don't go with that attitude like, well, I know how to. I drove for 40 years. I should know how to drive. But guess what? On the track, totally different.
Right.
And Kevin Strutt, uh, I used to work with Kevin. That I found out he raced at Peterborough when I went there. And Kevin said, you know something, Ange, my first year, I think I burned off 10 right front tires before I learned how to drive. And it's
Yeah.
true because I did too.
Right. Just all getting comfortable and not knowing, when to drive it hard, when not to.
Yeah. So, I mean, listening's the biggest thing. And people are so helpful at the track.
Right.
Like so helpful with advice, ideas. I've had guys take my car into the practice to find out because I said I can't figure out what's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually said to Ryan Babbitt, here, take the car for a practice, see what you think. And I didn't like the changes we did, but it was just his opinion. But that's the thing. I mean, you try what they tell you, and if it works, and we all drive differently. If it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, no problem. You've tried it.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, any feedback can help, especially if you're having an issue, because you never know, they could figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, listening is the biggest thing, and people are so helpful. I mean, the first person I met was Jeremy Kelly. We went to the track with Kyle the first year of Bone Stock,
Right.
and we showed up and we knew nothing about racing from the pit side. And Jeremy was right up there. We parked beside him at practice. Just Kyle's first time in the car, and he was really helpful with us.
Huh.
You know, he told Kyle, he says, "Listen, start this way. This is what you're going to start with. This is what you'll do."
I've heard a lot of people talk about like how great Jeremy's been helpful in that, and other ones have been helpful in that. I think because last question I'm going to kind of pawn on to this is your thoughts on the current state of the division and that, whether it be the friendships with the other drivers as well as the current competition level that we have right now at Peterborough Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers, the bone stock took a bit of a drip after that whole COVID thing. A lot of people, I guess, have moved on to different things, but it seems to be growing again in our division. I think
Right.
last year I think we're getting up to 20 cars now. So the numbers are coming back. So I mean, I fan appreciation when they all come. You know, so these fans come down to see us and to see the cars, and then they got talking. I mean, you look at they think it's a race car, and then you tell them like what they actually cost, what you could buy with this car for.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "That's it." And I go, "Yeah, it's like it's not a lot, dude. Like it's." I mean, the only expensive thing would be if you have to pay somebody to wrench on the car for you. If you
Yeah.
can do most of the work yourself, it's really not that bad.
No, especially bone stock level, right? Being the entry level in that. 'Cause I think you guys are maybe, I think like we saw some cars for sale for a couple thousand, and that
Yeah,
starter cars, and that
yeah. So I mean, and it's. I thought it was a lot more. I honestly did. I mean,
right.
I watched. So I was kind of shocked when I kind of get into it. I go, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It is a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And race all day Saturday, come home Sunday, usually just kind of with the family, then start picking away at the car until unless something happens. Then you're working every day at the car.
Right. Alrighty.
And
Well,
and then honestly, I am 61 now. I'll be turning 61, and all the people I race are all 15 to 30.
yeah.
And but they don't make me feel old. Like they never comment about. I mean, I admire I admire them able to walk without clenching knees. I wish I could. So as long as we're not walking, it's not bad. And they don't make me. They don't. I don't feel old around them. I feel like honestly, I feel like I'm 20 again when I'm in the track.
I mean, and that's awesome. And that keeps the youthful feel in that. And they say you're only as old as you feel. So if you can keep feeling young, then hey, live forever.
Yeah, honestly, I don't feel old until I started walking, and I feel it.
So
Then it hits me.
we'll just keep you belted in the race car.
Yeah, I just stay in the car.
Alrighty.